Welcome to WtFun podcast with Kimmie,
Kesia,
and Renee.
Glad you can join us as we explore all aspects of entertainment and current events with industry professionals, friends, and us. Welcome. All right, here we are, episode 11. One more episode away before we wrap up season 1. Yay!
Yay!
Excuse my dog. My dog is a little hyper at the moment, so you might hear some barking in the background. But, that's the common trend on our show. We always have these little distractions, such as our pets or our significant others, whichever gets in the way. It's okay because, that's a part of our show. So, I've attempted to take up crafting, but just for some reason.
But what kind of crafting?
I was trying to knit a little cheeseburger. I got this little kit. It's a knitting kit, and you can make a cheeseburger, a muffin, a cake. It's like a little food kit that you can crochet a little cheeseburger. But I've come to the realization that crafting is not my thing. Like, I am so bad at these things, but I'm going to try to make it happen, and hopefully it goes well, and I will share on our webpage or on our Facebook page the results of this little cheeseburger I'm trying to make. So,
is it crocheting or knitting?
Oh, I get crochet. Wait, crochet.
Crocheting with the hook?
Yeah, with the hook.
Just,
yeah.
Crochet.
Okay, crochet. See, I don't even know the different types of. I just knit away. I don't know crochet, but I know you ladies have been doing some crafty stuff because that's what's inspired. That's what inspired me to try to take on something, because I know you ladies have been doing stuff, and so I kind of felt a little left out, and I busted open that little food crocheting kit.
Yeah, I craft all the time. Right now I'm working on cleaning my house. Getting my house in order because we bought our house 2 years ago, and we, did a remodel upstairs, but we just never got it situated. So now, I'm just like here organizing my house, and I was just cleaning out my craft drawer. I had so much yarn from knitting projects. I taught myself to crochet at the beginning of quarantine.
I may have to borrow some of that yarn in case I butcher the burger.
I have a lot of yarn, so just let me know.
And hey, listen, if I do well with this little cheeseburger, I'm going to put it up for sale, and I'll start knitting a bunch of burgers.
You should do little filet-o-fishes.
Renee! Yes! Oh my gosh!
I would buy one.
Okay. That's the plan. I'm going to make a bunch of filet-o-fish. Good idea, Renee. Thank you.
Some little buns.
Oh my gosh.
And then I want all of our followers to order the little filet-o-fish sandwich from me and take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Renee, share with us what you've been working on. I know you've been doing some stuff too.
I have. Because of work, I forgot that I like doing a lot of things. But now that I don't have to work, it's been great. So I've just rediscovered painting, and I started doing some more watercolors, mainly watercolor. I do acrylic as well, but mainly watercolor. So I started doing these little postcards, and I mail them out. So I'll create something, and then I just mail it out. I let the postcard speak to me, and then I'm like, oh, this person is for this person once it's done, not prior to, because I don't really know. I just like draw it, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh, this one's for Kesia. I haven't found one for you yet. Or like for Kimmie. So I've been doing watercolors, and I've been trying to clean my house, and then doing some frames and whatever I could get my hands on. It's just a nice way of like getting in touch with all that. And it's been fun. I mean, this is the time to do it. Like, we haven't really had that time to work on our homes or, explore other interests. At least you're trying something new, Kimmie. Even if you have
know.
Yeah.
It's going to look like a coaster. That's what it is. Oh, no, not a toaster. A coaster. Sounds like a coaster.
Oh my God.
So, like, ladies, since our other episode with Abel, with the whole makeup thing, I've been dabbling on experimenting with beauty makeup tutorials, especially on YouTube. I've been itching to do like classic makeup styles, like of like the 1940s and 50s, with just the simplicity of makeup application back then, where like today it's so intense with like contouring, but like
it is so intense.
So intense that it's ridiculous with all the layers that these ladies put on. And I'm guilty of contouring here and there, but like back then in the 40s, 50s, it was simple. It was like a little bit of blush, lipstick, eyeliner, and a little bit of eyeshadow. But, you never had to worry so much about contouring or highlighting to where it's like, oh, girl. But I've been enjoying these little tutorials and just learning how to do like a really nice eyeliner wing. And so that's something that I've been dabbling on. It's just like playing around with beauty stuff.
See, I think that's your interest. I think
it is.
Is there's two things that I think are your interest. One of them is makeup. Okay. Makeup, photography, and then the third thing is socializing. So I don't know how you're doing that. It's probably the hardest time for you, because I think socializing is your craft you play with. And then luckily you went back to work, so you get to socialize there enough. But
oh boy.
But yeah, I think that makeup is your thing.
Yeah, I think makeup is more of my calling. I mean, I still want to like try new things. So that's why crochet was something I want to dabble in. Only because you ladies are so talented in crafting things, whether if it is, redoing something like that drawer, that dresser that Kesia shared. Oh my gosh, it looked amazing. And then that little frame, Renee, that you put together with for the coffee, stuff like that frame that you can put at a coffee bar. I mean, as cute and simple as it looks for me, that's like, that seems a little too difficult, but I'm not creative like that.
It's really not that hard. You just need probably just somebody to be there to help you out.
Right.
It's really not that difficult.
That's it. That's part of it too, is that you need that social engagement with another human to get through it.
I think we three bring balance, because where I could learn crafty stuff, I could teach y'all some beauty and eyebrow techniques.
Yes. God knows we've talked about eyebrow techniques. I'll be honest though, I miss wearing lipstick.
Yeah.
This last couple of weeks, I've been like, I want to wear lipstick again. You know what I mean? And because that's the only thing I would wear. I wouldn't put anything else on, because I rub my eyes all the time. So what's the point of putting on eyeshadow? I don't know anything about matching my skin to any foundation. Plus I get these little things, like my pores get clogged up. So and I'm like, I don't deal with that. And then, walking around with this big wart on my face because I didn't know how to clean my face after putting on makeup. No, it's not gonna happen. But like lipstick, that was the thing for me. And like I've been walking around the house putting it's really dark in my freaking pajama pants and t-shirt. Well, I don't care.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, and also I've been dabbling on false lashes, because that was a thing back in the 40s and 50s. And I don't normally wear false lashes, but I really like it. I think it's really, really cool. But I think I've been putting too much glue, eyelash adhesive, because the following day, I thought I washed off all my eye makeup and everything. And I've been wearing makeup to work here and there, but, with the whole face covering, it kind of defeats the purpose of wearing makeup, except for your beautiful eyes are like shown. That's why I was wearing the false lashes, so I can bat my eyes, with my mask on. But I thought I washed off everything. And I was talking to somebody, and they were like, you got something on your eyes. And I'm like, what? And oh my gosh, it was like a clump of adhesive that was still there. And they totally thought it was eye boogers. It looked like eye boogers. Oh my gosh. I didn't know that it was still kicking it. It was still there. It's so just a word just for those ladies who, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir for those who are pros at wearing false lashes, but dang, I didn't know that. So ladies, if you decide to wear false lashes, just make sure you clean thoroughly because you might have eye boogers the following morning like I did. And I'm not about to be looking like a fool out there with eye boogers. So anyway.
Buy a good cleanser.
That's what it is. It's just buy a good cleanser.
So there's a lot of things that have happened during COVID. We've rediscovered crafting, DIY projects, cooking. We've talked about that. We've done this beautiful podcast. And here we are, like at the 11th episode. So we're one episode shy, like you stated at the beginning, from the end of our first season. And yeah, it's been crazy.
5.5 months. 5.5 months. 12
And like
episodes.
socially and culturally, a lot of things have happened in the past 5.5 months.
Yes,
Many
indeed.
of which we have not discussed on this podcast. And I'm grateful for that in many ways.
Yes.
But in this particular podcast that we're talking, the person we're talking with today, she's a podcaster. So that's what's great. We get to talk to a podcaster about podcasts on a podcast that's our podcast.
Well put. Well put. I like that.
But Shannon, you know, she has her own podcast and she's out there. She's doing her own thing. She's a one-woman show.
She is.
In life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. She is quite the, this is her hustle. You know, we talked about Aurelie and Laura's hustle. This is her hustle. So she is not one to, you know, be messed with because she will bite you.
Yeah, she definitely is doing her own thing. She is producing her own stuff. She is, you know, recording and editing and doing all that stuff. And she's killing it.
And she talks about relevant things, right? And on her podcast, it's mainly about travel, beauty, and culture. And we're going to be able to talk to her about her inspiration for all of that during this particular episode. But Kimmie, share with us how you know Queen ShanShan, because you're the one who introduced her to us.
Yeah, well, her brother is actually my best friend. And so I got to know Shannon through him. And, you know, just hearing about her, you know, just made me so intrigued, you know, with her lifestyle, like what she loves doing, which is traveling, trying a lot of different types of food, fashion. I mean, she's got wigs that will last for days, and every day is a new hairstyle. She's got quite the makeup collection. If you ever follow her on her Instagram page, like her personal page, she will share with you like everything that's in her makeup collection, wig collection, everything, anything. So I can see why she put that podcast show together, because of just, you know, all the stuff that she loves doing. And so, yeah, I really do enjoy hearing her stories from her brother, and now getting to know her. She's pretty cool. I like her.
Yeah. She's great to chat with.
So let's do it.
All right. Well, joining us today is the founder and CEO of A Broad Production. She's also the host of the popular podcast show, A Broadcast Podcast. Woo, that's quite the word. A Broadcast Podcast. She's traveled all over the world, sharing her experiences, visions, and a broad perspective with the world, focusing on travel, food, beauty, and culture. Please welcome to our show this powerhouse diva and fellow podcaster, Shannon Langhorne, also known as Queen ShanShan. Yay! Yay! Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have you here at WtFun.
Yay!
The Queen has arrived, everybody.
Yes, baby. Yes, she has. Look at my fan over there. Hello. Yes.
Oh, that's what we need.
We
We need
to.
one of those.
She is color coordinated today because I mean, like the color scheme, everything is just all on point. She's got this beautiful curly flow of purple hair with a purple hand fan and a beautiful, perfect floral decor behind her with pink, red, and purple.
That's right, honey. We coordinate over here. We have to.
She don't mess around. She don't mess around.
Even if I'm by myself, I have to look fabulous.
Yes.
Girls,
I
thank
love
you
that.
for having me.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on our podcast.
I'm
Yay.
so excited. Thank you.
So tell us, Queen ShanShan, we're going to just jump right into it. Tell us about your podcast, a broadcast podcast, and tell us how it got started and why you created it and all the backstory.
Well, I am an avid traveler now, and my friends, we were literally at dinner here at my house 2 years ago, and my friends Devin and Danny were here, and I was talking about me starting a podcast, and I was like, I really wish I could really get a catchy name for my show. And Danny said, you know what? You travel abroad, you have a broad opinions, and the word broad back in the day was a little derogatory towards women, but it also meant this broad had an opinion. This broad was independent. This broad knows where she's going. I'm like, oh my God. So we literally thought of the name right there here at dinner, and this dinner table where we're at right now, and said, why don't we call it A Broadcast? And then A Broadcast Podcast, because it encompasses so many definitions into who I am and to what I want to convey and what I want to talk about. And that's about travel, food, beauty, and culture.
Nice.
Love it.
That's
awesome.
like the perfect title. I got it right away. As soon as Kimmie told us, I was like, I get it.
Totally brilliant. So brilliant. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I was listening to your podcast the other day, and I love that you just like to talk about anything and everything. And your main focus is on beauty and culture and travel. But I just love that you just like leave it open-ended to just like see where it takes you. And I love that about your podcast.
Sometimes the people that I have on the podcast, we were supposed to talk about a specific thing, and we talk about that specific thing or topic for 5 minutes. And then, if you listen to the shows, it goes into something completely different. And I'm like, this is how I am as a person anyway, because not like I, have attention deficit disorder or anything like that, but it's like there's so many things to talk about in the world. And you talk about one subject, then it evolves into something else. And that's why I like, if I ever have a show, hi, Oprah, are you listening? Oprah, Gail, anyone out there, if you're listening to the show, I would love to have a topic or a topical show like what I'm doing for the podcast, where it's not really regimented or scripted, where I'm having my lover, Justin Timberlake, on the show. And we're talking about, the days of NSYNC and, when he made the huge mistake of getting married. And,
So where are you at with your followers? How many followers do you have to date?
I have over 9,000 listeners globally.
Wow. And how long have you had this podcast show?
Only for a year and a half.
Good heavens, sister.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. How did you get 9,000 in 1 year? What is your shtick? What are you doing?
Well, it's all about knowing who can be on the show to graduate and also encompass an audience. So all of my guests, not all of them, I should say. No, that's a lie. A good 3/4 of my guests had an internet following, had a social media following. When they were on the show, we make a agreement that we are in a partnership in terms of marketing and cross promotion. So when I have a guest here, I email them the form and say, you agree to so and so and so and so. Obviously, I'm not paying you. You're not getting paid in composition. I own the rights to the show. I own the rights to this recording. That's all laid out into this 1-page agreement. And it also says that you agree to help market. So when the podcasts are live or the YouTubes are live, or, I market on real quick, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeart, radio.com. So with that being said, they already have their cross promotion companies too. So when you have a brand new episode, they market it as well. Now, when I'm not a podcaster where I have 1 million followers yet, when, I'm not getting monetized yet. So I'm still at a level, most of these podcasts, like I can't speak about Podbean, but I know with iHeartRadio and iTunes and also Lisbon, you have to have like over 25,000 or more listeners to start getting monetized. Obviously, that's the next goal, is to actually get paid for you guys for listening to my show and getting more sponsors. When I did start the show, I did have 11 sponsors on the show.
And how do you go about getting sponsors? What was your journey with that?
I was lucky with the connections of friends that I had who are business owners. And I reached out to them when I first started. My good friend, Michelle, he actually signed a whole year contract to be a sponsor last year and was awesome. And we settled on a certain amount of money that he was going to pay me each month. And we would actually, me and Devin, who used to be my podcast producer, we would make these hilarious commercials about the restaurant. And I had my nail lady, I had my eyebrow lady be my sponsor. So I just dug in my own pocket to who?
So your eyebrow lady. No. Renee, your eyebrow lady.
I gotta get my nail lady.
Your nail lady.
Yes. I mean, they got great advertising. They got customers. They got clients from my podcast because people listened to it. And people who were obviously here in Los Angeles called them for their services. So that's a good way to get your sponsors, is to look into your own backyard and see who can help market, because it's all about a give and take situation. Let's be honest. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. What can we both get out of this? Correct?
How do you identify which guests to bring on board? Because for our show, we've brought in a lot of professionals from the entertainment industry, and so how do you identify your guests to invite to your show?
A lot of my guests were personal friends of mine. I'm very blessed with a huge circle of friends. I would say, again, maybe 3/4 or less were all people I personally knew. From Billy Francesca, he is the queen MC of West Hollywood. I was so honored to have him as my guest, and he's absolutely hysterical. I had Jamal Sims, world-known choreographer who I went to school with and also in junior high, who's been the ultimate RuPaul's Drag Race #1 choreographer. He was a choreographer of Aladdin last year. He was in Descendants. His first gig was with Michael Jackson's Remember Me video with Eddie Murphy and Naomi Campbell. I mean, this man has an extensive amount of accolades, and he was on my show. I knew him from a million years ago. So just, again, for people who are starting their podcast in the terms of the topics they want to talk about, reach in your pocket, reach in your backyard, because you'd really be surprised at who you know or who they know. And it was really easy. People like to talk about themselves. Trust. They love to talk about themselves. So, and I'm in my dining room. The studio's in my dining room, literally right here. So we always had a very comfortable setting. This is again pre-COVID. So anybody can come over to my home and have the interview. And we'd have drinks, we'd have dinner, we'd have snacks, and then I'd get them comfortable and then we'd talk away. So
I love that.
Yeah. So it's been a very, very good experience. Yeah.
Okay, so with your podcast being about travel, beauty, food, and culture, what were the influences or interests that inspired you to discuss that on your podcast show?
I'm going to be a history teacher because I love history, which is why I love to travel, because I love to go to Italy and I love to go to all these old civilizations that are longer than the USA. Trust, the USA is only a very young country. We're only here.
A very young country.
Very young country. So when you're going to Egypt and Italy and Spain, Croatia and Slovenia, that's marked out for 4,000 years ago. That's the drive of where I wanted to start with traveling. So cut to after graduating from college, I started to be in real estate in San Diego, did very well in that in real estate here in Los Angeles because I wanted to start pursuing my acting and singing career. But acting doesn't pay the money unless you are discovered, right? So I like money. I'm sorry, I don't know about anybody else, but I like money. And I wanted to pay my bills. And so I was in commercial real estate, and when the market took a dump, I started to be an insurance broker in 2008, and I flourished. With that being said, I had a amazing mastermind group with a bunch of very entrepreneurial women. And that group, we met once a month, and we talked about setting goals, making sure our intentions were straight, and manifesting the reality of those goals. And one of those realities for me was to travel all over the world. You have to make money to travel. So when I started making this natural amount of income, my first trip was to Spain and Portugal. And that was 2013. So that was 7 years ago. So there's still a lot for me to see. And I'd love to share my experiences with other people and encourage them what to do and where to go when they want to go travel abroad. From this broad.
From this broad.
I love that. Tell me about how you kind of adapt to the culture to wherever you are abroad, because that's one thing that when I travel is that I really love just kind of like immersing myself in that culture wherever I am. Even if I'm in another state in the US, it's very different on the East Coast than it is here in LA. So it's just like I love learning all about that culture, and I think it's really important for people to see that the USA is not the only country out there.
As a Black woman, of size, there is a little bit of hesitation in terms of going to certain countries that you don't know if you're going to be accepted. Let me tell you something. If you're a woman of color, Italy is where it's at. Telling you, honey, the men love us. They love us. The Portuguese men love us colors, honey. They love the colors. People in France, I should say Southern France was super duper accepting. Mexico, of course, Jamaica, of course, Costa Rica, ridiculously accepting. There are certain countries, I'm not going to name them, but there were some countries that I didn't feel truly welcomed, but I let that go because I still wanted to see the scenery and the architecture and the history. When it comes to adapting and realizing where you are, you're in a different place, a different space, and a different time. I'm able to just imagine myself being where Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel. So it was just an education. You want to get your education, and you learn so many languages, and you learn from people. I've met so many good friends on my travels, and as a single woman, that's important.
Yeah. One thing I want to know, because I'm not into like makeup, like, okay, let me tell you, we did a little photo shoot.
You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. I would love to do your makeup.
I know how to do it. I just never put it on. Like I was telling Renee, she was over at my house. This was a few months ago when we were doing photos for our podcast, and I did an event. This was at the event back in February, and my makeup was still in that bag, and Renee was at my house in April.
It was like April.
So there we go.
There you go.
But I was curious. I mean, just being a Black female, like I think part of why I used to really love makeup when I was in high school, because it just is like fun and you can, wear all sorts of colors. Now I just feel like I'm like too busy and I just never want to do it. But when I buy makeup, especially because of my skin tone, it's lighter. I feel like I always have a hard time finding my correct shade. Do you feel like there's more options now for people of color?
Absolutely. Yeah, even Kim's nodding. Yes.
Kimmie's saying yes.
Yeah. When I was over at the mall, because I had to go buy more Studio Fix from MAC, gosh, just the color scheme for all different tones from the fair to tan to dark skin. My gosh, there's like multiple levels of dark skin color. I mean, dang. So to answer your question, yes, a wide variety.
And it still can be improved. You know who set it off? Miss Rihanna with her Fenty Beauty line. She set it off 3 years ago, and it shook the beauty community, which shouldn't have shook the beauty community in the first place. Statistics have shown women of color are the ones who buy makeup the most.
Yeah, it's about like getting it all done and looking really good.
We want to look fabulous.
Yep.
And
yes.
why women of color? Because maybe the systemic racism that we're dealing with. We were been put down as women of color when we were younger. We felt less than, and we feel that makeup is the step to make us look pretty. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. That there's a lot of mental and emotional stuff behind why we like to wear our wigs, why we like to do our hair, why we like to get our nails done, why we like to get our feet done. There's a lot of things that stem from how we were treated when we were younger. But yeah, Fenty Beauty set the world on fire when she had 64 shades foundation, which really has never been done. And it's shameful in 2017 when she introduced her line that it took 2017 for all these huge makeup companies like, Estee Lauder, who owns all kinds of makeup companies under that umbrella, that it shook the makeup company and said, oh, we do need to market to the Black community, the Hispanic community, the Middle Eastern community, the Asian community. These women and men, like
and men.
Makeup. Yes, honey. The men makeup community, oh my goodness, they slay these makeup. I mean,
their makeup looks flawless.
Sickening. I'm jealous.
Their eyebrows alone, okay? Men's eyebrows alone are better looking than my eyebrows, and that's a problem.
They have the contour. I'm just like, how do you do this?
And they have it slayed for your life. I'm like, I am so jealous.
Was your mom also an inspiration to you growing up for like in regards to fashion and your interest in that?
She still is. I mean, Kimmie can attest to this. She still is, right? My mom is a fashionista. She's 79 years old, still wearing 6-inch heels.
Her mom is a goddess. I mean, I'm telling you straight up, that lady can dress to the nines. Yeah, no, she's a beautiful woman. Beautiful woman.
I get a lot of inspiration from my mother. So when you see me donned up, it's because it's my mom. My mom's a beautiful woman. She's given me a lot of inspiration on how I carry myself, because as a child, she made sure, she said, she's always, make sure your nose looks like a palace, not a cave.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So hygiene was a must in our family, and it still holds true that the habits that me and Theron today, in terms of back in the day, we couldn't go downstairs until we took baths and brushed our teeth and cleared our ears. And to this day, I carry on that same tradition. I do not walk out of the store, even through COVID. I do not walk out the store. I do not sit in front of the computer until I've taken my shower and brushed my teeth and cleaned my ears.
I wouldn't do too well in that household. I wouldn't do too well in that household because during COVID, my justification was I'm just trying to save money here with water. That's why I didn't bathe for 5 days. But I can attest to the hygiene thing because Theron. So her brother Theron is my best friend. He's like my brother, and every time that we go on this little trip, Theron is very precise with how he gets ready. He irons his jeans. He irons his t-shirt. Everything is like all crisp and perfectly laid out. So I can see how that's been instilled in both of you.
Get it from my parents.
You know what I really love about you, Shannon, is that you are just so present in your life. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. I know that, like, I was listening to Oprah Super Soul, and it was in her intro when she said taking time to be more fully present, that was when I was like, is that a thing? Like, I work in entertainment and I get to do really amazing events. And I would literally sit at these events with these A-list celebrities and be thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, no, you don't get to see Chris Hemsworth every single day. Like you need to be here.
God. I saw him every single day. Oh my God. He is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
If I saw him every single day, I would be on time to work. If I saw him every single day, I'd always be there way beforehand, ready to clock in. That's for sure. You want me to work overtime? You got it.
Yes, absolutely.
But I love that about you. I love that
Thank you.
and that's like the intention that you've set for yourself, you know? Like this is what I want to do. So I love that.
Well, I do,
Yeah.
you know, the only thing phony about me is my wigs and my nails. You know, that's the only thing funny about me. Everything else is 100% authentic and real. You know, you're gonna get the ugly Shannon because Shannon ain't perfect, honey. I get in my moods and I have my opinions and I'm very stubborn. You know, our family is my mom's stubborn. I'm stubborn. My brother's stubborn. My dad's stubborn. That's just that's a I don't know if it's a fallacy, a fault. That's just how we were. You know, we're made up. But I'm a good listener, and I'm a good friend, and we sometimes women and women of color, white women, I don't care who you are, but women, we are providers. We are the ones that listen and put and make sure that our friends are okay, our children are okay, and we always put ourselves in the back, and that's not right. We should always put ourselves in the forefront so we can take care of the people we love in a better situation. I'd rather I be the woman to be strong for you, and I can cry with you and share my experiences that I had a bad day or I had a good day. This particular policy didn't go through or I did go through. And at the same time, I want to hear about your day too. So when I go travel, to be a Black woman with a voice, that's sometimes intimidating to some. But you know what? I may be single for the rest of my life because of that too, and that's fine too.
That's fine.
I've had my friend trust.
Were you always able to use your voice, or was that something that you had to learn?
I had to learn. You know, I was a chubby girl when I was in high school, and I still had a lot of friends, but you know, I was bullied a little bit. There was one girl, I will never forget her name, Kathy Anderson. Yes, Kathy, are you hearing me? Are you listening? Kathy Anderson from Alpha Loma. I'm calling her name out. But she was a bully, not just to me, but to a lot of girls who were chubby. And I just remember her making fun of me. And I remember cowering. I was in a few classes with her in high school. And I was never really a shy person, but I was shy when I saw her in the corner of the school. You know? So yeah, I had to find my voice, and I'm still, you know, to this day, I can be a little shy in some circles of friends or some public situations. But then I'm like, let me look fabulous, put on this amazing color of mascara or eyeshadow, and then I stand out in the crowd, honey, and the crowd comes on. I demand attention, and some people don't like that, and some people love it. You know, you gotta play your audience. You gotta work the audience.
Yeah. I love it. I love how you're owning your own space. It's very clear.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that, and I'm glad that you found a platform in your life to really use your voice. So, as we've seen over the last few months, like Black Lives Matter movement, which started a couple years ago, but it's really picked up recently. How do you see that movement really affecting travel, beauty, and culture?
The Black Lives Matter has been incredibly crucial with the arts because it's letting artists that you've never heard of before take a stand. Black artists, Hispanic, Latino artists, Asian artists, all around the world have been showing their voice by their art, by poetry, by painting. And, you know, we now are seeing it in our own streets. Black Lives Matter painted in front of the Trump Tower, for God's sakes, in New York. Mayor de Blasio helping paint with local artists a yellow sign saying Black Lives Matter from the Trump Tower. If that is not historic, I don't know what is. For the Black Lives Matter in the makeup community, we still have a long way to go. I think. I think we still have a long way to go. The Maybellines, the L'Oreals, the Estee Lauders, the huge multi-billion-dollar companies, we need to have more of a face like mine, like Kimmie's, like Kesia's, like Renee's. We need to see these faces on TV, on the social medias, in magazines to prove that we are a change, to prove that they are changing. They're accepting all sorts of sizes. My size, everyone's sizes are beautiful. We're beautiful. People with disabilities, absolutely. They're beautiful. Put on a slab of makeup on, they're even more beautiful. Okay? Representation counts. And that's what we need, representation. If you want to market me and if you want me to buy your oils and your shampoos, well, I want to see a Shannon on that freaking TV screen. This is why Oprah has been the way she is. This is why Oprah was so popular, because we did not see a full-size Black woman on TV 40 years ago. Okay. And now we're seeing that more than ever. So Black Lives Matter is a true movement. It's not for just Black people. Black people are the main congruent in terms of it, but we are inclusive. All lives don't matter until Black lives matter.
Absolutely. Well said. As we wrap up, do you want to share any last words of wisdom with our listeners?
I don't want to sound super cheesy, but I guess I'm going to sound like super Swiss Gouda cheddar right now. I'm gonna say these are the times that are going to show your ass. This is the time to show your ass. We're in unprecedented times of uncertainty. And if you've already shown me who you were during COVID, during a time where I already saw you, I can only text you or FaceTime you or call you, and you're not picking up that phone, I'm giving you side eye. I'm giving you side eye. Because these are the times where we need each other. That slogan that the government's been saying, California's been saying, alone together, it may sound cheesy, but it's true to dirt. We are all in this together. We are alone together. And if you cannot seek out your family, your friends at this time, and they turn their back on you, this is the time to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go. Yes. We have to let them go and move on. And I've learned a lot from that, and gathered an incredibly new base of friends. So pick up that phone. My words of wisdom, I guess, my little droplet of solace is reach out to the people who you think were not on your side and that they were on your side all this time, because there's a lot of people who are. There's a lot of people who are.
I love that.
That's great.
I love that.
Thank you so much, Queen ShanShan, for being with us.
Yes, absolutely. I am so honored that Kimmie invited me to have on the show. You guys are amazing. I'm so proud of you. Your podcast is wonderful. You all are the women of the rainbow that I'm looking at. Come on. This is a beautiful thing that we're seeing right now, and I'm so proud of you. We have to support each other. Sisters have to support each other.
Yes,
awesome.
Absolutely.
I love that. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you.
Yes,
You need to come back and join us again real soon.
I would love it. I would love it.
Guys, before we go, one more quick announcement. As a proud alumni and member of the Cerritos College Improvisational Troupe, known as the Generic Improvisational Peep Show, GIPS, I'm so excited to invite you to our very first live Zoom production. GIPS Homecoming, The Show Must Go Online, is celebrating 35 years of improvisational comedy starting tonight, Friday, September 25th through October 4th. Check out the Cerritos College Theater Department's website for further details. Hope to see you in the chat room.
If you'd like to follow Queen ShanShan, visit her website at www.abroadproductions.com to hear her latest podcast episode. You can also follow her on Instagram at Abroad Podcasts.
Yes, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Rikiki Productions. Also, don't forget to leave us a message, comment, or any questions you may have for us on Facebook or Instagram at Rikiki Productions.
Yes, and make sure that you are subscribed to all of our podcast platforms so you can stay up to date on all of our latest shenanigans. We post new episodes of WtFun podcast every other Friday. Thanks for listening. Bye, everyone.